Another COVID-19 lockdown has been implemented across England. Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson says that the restrictions are needed to control the new variant of the coronavirus. He says that people should stay at home, except for a handful of reasons such as medical appointments and essential shopping. Let's talk about relations between South Africa and the UK. We're now joined by our Foreign Editor Sophie Mokoena. Very good afternoon to you, Sophie. We're witnessing some words being exchanged between South Africa and Britain. Diplomatic as they are, one can kind of sense that there is some sort of tension. Talk to us about this. It seems that the UK is sort of blaming South Africa for the second variant discovered in South Africa.
I don't know whether it should be characterized as blaming South Africa, but certainly the comments by the Secretary of Health or the Minister of Health in that country, Matt Hancock, are quite worrying in a sense that yesterday when he was doing the interview with one of the radio stations in the UK in London, he spoke about this variant that was detected in South Africa, him saying that it looks like it will be a serious problem for UK to an extent that they have taken these strong measures against South Africa to try and manage that situation. But he went further to say that the researchers have told him that, or the scientists have told him that this variant that was detected in South Africa is likely to pose a problem on administering of vaccine. You know that they are currently on a campaign to administer a vaccine to vulnerable groups, the frontline workers, and of course the citizens of the United Kingdom. And in saying it looks like the vaccine will not work when you have that kind of a variant. Now, this has been disputed by scientists in South Africa. They said that a research is still being conducted to determine the impact against the vaccine. But many people are saying, much as you see these variants around the world in different countries, it's not likely that there will be a problem in terms of people who are taking the vaccine. In other words, the vaccine will still work. Therefore, you can see now he is not a scientist, he's just a politician making these statements, and therefore making scientists and researchers, people with a know-how, upset in a sense that they are still working on it. We know that 2 weeks ago, the leader of this research in the University of Natal, our own scientists, the professor, they indicated that much as they have detected this, they are now growing the virus in the lab. And even that growing, it doesn't mean it is being released or unleashed to people. It is in the lab, it's a lab process where they are trying to really make proper research in terms of this variant and the implication thereof. And therefore, these kinds of comments are premature. We don't know what will be the outcome.
Yeah, we heard our health minister sort of entering this debate saying, expressing concern about the fact that there is this rhetoric that's developing, that this variant is more transmissible than the UK variant and potentially even more serious in terms of mortality. On the back of this, I'd like to ask you if you can talk to us about, the relationship between President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Usually these sort of issues and I suppose tensions tend to be ironed out in diplomatic ways if the leaders of the two countries have a cordial or warm relationship. What do we know about the relationship between the two leaders?
Well, the relationship between South Africa and United Kingdom is strong. during the colonial era. They've invested a lot in South Africa. These big multinational companies you see in South Africa, most of them are owned by the United Kingdom and the United States of America. Therefore, you can't really divorce South Africa's relation. You can't cut it by just one or two statements by a junior politician. Junior in a sense that it is not a head of state who did make those comments. I mean, yesterday I did watch Prime Minister Boris Johnson, hoping that, or looking whether, or listening whether he would touch on this variant, and he stayed clear of such comments, sticking to what he is supposed to do as a head of state, sticking, to issues of policy and precautions that they are taking, not interfering with science or the research, which is perhaps the responsibility of people with the skills to do that. And therefore, I think it is still at the scientists between South Africa and the scientists in UK, but also at the ministerial level. I don't think it has been escalated to heads of state level, because heads of in the UK, clearly he is head of government. Boris Johnson in South Africa, the president, is the head of state. That hasn't reached that level. I think it is still between technocrats, particularly, and also, of course, the ministers.
Yeah. Before we run out of time, I know that we wanted to have a conversation about issues on our continent pertaining to our neighbors, Zimbabwe. There is an issue at the Beitbridge border post, what's being referred to as a looming humanitarian crisis. This is what we've heard politicians saying. I just saw a tweet by one of the EFF leaders saying that a humanitarian crisis is looming, but more significantly, we've heard the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, also alluding to the fact that there might be a humanitarian crisis looming there. What's this assertion based on, Sophie?
Well, of course, you can see the videos that are doing the rounds. These are videos from either Beitbridge border post that is between South Africa and Zimbabwe, others between South Africa and Mozambique, and others between South Africa and Lesotho. But the common story here, you have our neighbors, citizens from different countries, making their way back to South Africa. And unfortunately, at a time where you are dealing with a crisis of a pandemic, and therefore entering a country during this time, not only South Africa, it is not as easy as all that. And therefore, we see thousands of people at the Beitbridge who want to cross over to South Africa. And now the government is doing a thorough job in terms of different departments. You have the defense, you have home affairs, you have police, and you also have health professionals. And of course, I'm sure the intelligence is also there on the ground. Now, when they are doing this thorough check to ensure that whoever comes to South Africa complies with all the documents that are needed in terms of traveling documents, but also health requirements, you see this standoff. The minister, in fact, the MEC of Health in Limpopo, on Sunday picked up a problem of people with fraudulent certificates that declares them COVID-19 negative, while they are not real documents from doctors. And when they are being interviewed, then you can realize that these are fraudulent documents. And therefore, Zimbabweans are upset that there's this process. But Zimbabweans themselves have imposed a strict lockdown, and therefore they have also taken strong measures against people entering Zimbabwe, be it Zimbabwean citizens who were outside Zimbabwe or foreign nationals who want to enter Zimbabwe. I mean, every country is doing that now, because if you don't do it, you will have a crisis, and when you have a crisis, the whole nation is going to put the blame on the government. And it looks like people don't like it, and they feel that they are being singled out. But this thing is being done all over the world. Zimbabweans who are going to UK right now, they are going to experience the same thing. South Africans are experiencing the same thing. Whether they are going to Asia, Europe, or United States of America, even on the continent, in the SADC region. And it is the right thing to do for countries to be very vigilant and strict, so that you find a way to manage this crisis. But some countries feel aggrieved, and unfortunately, these officials at the border posts are expected to do what they are supposed to do. But it has brought another heated debate in South Africa in terms of number of foreign nationals that are in South Africa, because when you see those visuals now, you ask your question, are these people all working in South Africa? Do they have all the documents? So it has actually created a very heated debate in terms of South African citizens who are very, very aggrieved. And the humanitarian crisis, because those people don't even exercise social distancing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that update, Sophie Mokoena, our foreign editor here at SABC News. No doubt the two stories will certainly be keeping you updated on.